Yo, this is Jarod Aguilar from the Duck Legs Podcast. You are listening to episode 7 with Dr. Jarod Carter. Yeah, we kind of got the same name, except he's got an O and I've got an E, and we talk about which name is actually the correct pronunciation of Jarod. Turns out I win. So you get to hear more about that in this episode, along with Cash PT, along with the struggles of being a physio in Texas, along with surfing in Austin, Texas, along with so many other things about business and about PT and about trying to crush it and build a life that you want to live. Tyler and I had the privilege to talk to Dr. Jarod, or Jarod if you prefer, down in Austin, Texas, down at his place, Carter Physiotherapy. And we had a blast. He's got a great setup there, and we learned a lot from him, and I hope you will too. Enjoy.
Yeah, we're recording. I've been
audio.
recording.
He's been recording.
Yeah, you're live.
All right.
We're at so many lives right now.
So many lives.
So many lives right now.
Let's get into it.
They can't see you on my live, but
It's okay.
we gotta go hug Jarod or Jarod.
Jarod. Yes.
Like that's how I pronounce my name.
Yeah.
So let's get this settled in. Let's
Yeah.
just go ahead and hash it off. If you didn't know, we've got two Jarods here.
And only one can be right.
Two separate spellings.
Yeah, one is right, one is wrong.
I would say that it depends. Like many things in life, it depends, right? So, if you like to be called and it pronounced Jarod, then you have the correct spelling, Jared.
Thank you.
Right? But if you like when people call you J-Rod, then I have the right spelling.
That's true, and I do call you J-Rod a lot.
Yeah.
And technically we shouldn't be doing that.
And you should not.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I've seen some spellings Jarad, and then there, of course, J-Rad.
That's just stupid.
So you just go by Jarod, and you don't have any cool, like things that people can call you.
Ooh,
Like
big J-Red, like for something.
I had Jarod.
Jarod.
Yeah, it was a play
There you
off
go.
the Ja rule. But J-Rod is the best.
I do like Jarod.
Jarod plays.
It plays.
Leave it at that.
We've settled it.
Yeah, okay.
The Jarods have come to an agreement, and
Now that
this
it's
is the
settled.
Jarod Treaty of 2017.
Yeah.
So we've got Aaron Perez. Ooh, MC
Oh.
legend. Aaron Perez is on with a hot 16.
Yeah, 16
Always.
bars coming through.
Damir's on both somehow. Damir's on 2
Why?
feeds. I saw Kelsey's on my feed. What's up, Kelsey? Yeah. So, boom, we're here. Meredith is on.
Hello, Meredith.
So we're recording. This is the Duck Legs podcast for anybody listening. Perez is watching. Promise is watching. Jarod. So who do we have with us today?
Dr. Jarod Carter right here.
Jarod?
Yes, J-Rod. We'll just do that. J-Rod Carter. Valedictorian right here in his class.
Yeah.
Yes.
What class was that?
That was the green class of 2005
Oh.
in St. Augustine.
St. Augustine.
Yes.
Yeah, we
it's
know.
really cool to be doing this with people, who are going through St. Augustine right now. It's awesome. Yeah.
Definitely.
And that was the Florida campus?
Yes.
The one-
It was the St. Augustine North Campus. I think they have one in Boca as well.
Okay.
They have a flex program, I think, down south, or they used to.
They've got a couple different ones now. They're popping up like wildfire.
Yeah.
Wildfire. And that is the one true campus.
It's the first campus.
It's the home
I
base,
love
the
this
mother.
campus here in town. It's beautiful.
It is
Yeah,
nice.
it
It
is.
is very nice. And you went from, you were here and then you went to St. Augustine. You chose to come back.
Uh-huh.
Austin's got a lot of the potential, right? Do you love Austin? What is
Is it the best city in the world?
I would say for me it is now because they recently built you guys know about the inland surf park? Have you heard of
No.
that?
I do
Yeah.
know about this, yes.
So right now it's closed. They had like a tear in the lining. It's this huge complex, 8 football fields big or 9. And it creates a really amazing wave. And you guys might know, might not, I love surfing and I've always had to travel for surf. But now Austin, with all the amazingness that it is, I can actually live here and then in 30 minutes be catching waves, which is pretty sweet. So
Yeah.
I would say for me, it's the best city in the world other than the traffic, which is which is like declining reimbursements, only going to get worse.
Ooh. Bing, take that.
Got 'em.
Take
I
that.
swear I did not plan that.
Yeah, right. As it was coming up, it's like, oh, here it is.
comes.
How
Here
can I
it is.
tie this
Here it
back to
comes.
physiotherapy?
Have you been to it yet? I mean, did they
Yeah.
ever officially open
I
it?
went to it, and when we're done, I'll show you some footage on
Yeah.
my phone. But it's
Yeah.
it's awesome. They were open for, I don't know, a month or two, and then they got this rip in the lining, and
Yeah.
I had to fix that. But the wave is incredible. It's just like this perfect peeling 5 to 6 foot wave.
Are you hitting people? Are people in the wave?
No,
Or-
I mean, you can if you try,
Yeah.
but generally, if you're on that section of the wave where it's big and it's
Yeah.
kind of the expert section, you know how to avoid people.
Avoid people.
Dr.
It's like
J-Rod's on the wave,
Yeah,
man.
expert session, by the way.
Expert.
Yes.
Session.
Section.
Section.
Yeah,
Section.
yeah. And if you guys want to learn to surf, the other sections are absolute blast. They're perfect for learning to surf and for kind of intermediate surfers too.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever surfed before?
No, I've never have surfed.
We need to do a St. Augustine trip over there.
Ooh.
It's expensive as hell right now. Though.
Is it?
It's
'Cause it's-
crazy expensive. But that'll come down. That'll come down.
I feel like that like puts you on a new cool status. You're like, yeah, surf. Everyone
Surf with
just-
Dr.
Yeah.
J-Rod.
Yeah, we were surfing yesterday.
Yeah. Cash PT and surfing goes so well together. Yeah. It's like so cool.
Yes.
So cool. Josh, what's up?
Let's see. So we got it. We got a few students on here. You want to just get straight to it and have the expert himself explain cash-based PT, even though I know it's out there. It's usually not what the duck legs is about. The duck legs is usually about behind the scenes mentality. What drives you every day, and we're going to get into that. But
We can go through all of it.
I feel like Jarod and I have done this. Jarod and I, J-Rad,
Jared.
Jarod.
That's how we'll have to refer to each other.
Okay.
I'll be Jared. You'll be J-Rod.
We've done our homework, but for me, it's still a little confusing, and if it's confusing for us in the public,
Yeah.
What is confusing
So
specifically?
to
Yeah.
the whole cash-based PT. So what we have recently stumbled upon in the state of Texas, our understanding of it is you can get a referral. Once you get a referral from a physician, that lasts for a year.
Depending. If it doesn't have a time frame on the referral, or if it doesn't list a certain number of visits, then yes, the referral is good for a year. For that body part or that issue that is listed on it. The nicest thing you can get is a referral that just says PT, evaluate and treat. It doesn't list a body part, doesn't have a time frame, because then you kind of can give them PT for up to a year before you need to get a referral.
Yeah.
A new referral. So that's what I'm kind of trying to guide our regular referral sources on. It's like, whenever possible, if you're okay with it, if you don't list, because a lot of them, they don't want to have to deal with patients always going back like, I need a referral, I hurt my knee this time, I hurt my shoulder.
Yeah.
So like, how can we deal with this? Okay, I can just put PT, evaluate and treat. Great, do it. I trust you. At Carter PT, I trust you guys. It's fine. But a lot of times, there are issues with physicians wanting to write a specific amount of, you'll actually find this, a lot of times it's not that they want to limit how long you can see someone or how many visits you have if they're writing that on the referral. They actually write that because in the insurance-based world, they often will kick back and say this referral is invalid without, they want to know how many visits or how long that the physician says we're allowed to treat, and therefore if you go over that, they don't have to pay. Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of physicians, most of them really, are kind of in the mode of, I have to write something down or the insurance is going to give us heck about it. So that's why that happens a lot of times. It's not like they're trying to limit you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're jerks and, they're like pissed off that the person doesn't want to go see their PT, so they like write 1 or 2 visits.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's ridiculous. That happens now and again, not often though.
Yeah.
No. So that's kind of how it works. If it's not delineated on there, it should be good for a year, at least as the Practice Act says right now.
And is that something that an individual can tell their physician? Say, hey, I would prefer you to write it. They can just drop it. I'd prefer if you wrote general. And what was the wording again?
Just PT, evaluate and treat.
PT, evaluate.
Yeah,
and
or
treat.
like, and I ask patients to do that sometimes, and physicians are often very open to that. Sometimes they're not. It just depends. And sometimes if they want to write something, then it could be like muscle tightness,
Okay.
or somatic dysfunction.
Yeah.
Like
broad.
something broad head to toe like that.
Do they ever write down 1 billion sessions, or is that going to get kicked back immediately?
I've never seen 1 billion. I've seen like 872. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, when they write that, they're not trying to limit what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now that that's cleared up, and maybe just going on that a little bit more, what is there a significant difference between the state of Texas and other states out there? Are you aware of? I know that some have direct act. Is that kind of the name of the game across the board there?
So you're asking if there are differences in access in different states?
Pretty much. If they're going through insurance, is that the way that other states should do it as well, or is there an ideal state that you're thinking this is how they do it in Maine?
Because we know in Texas, you as a physical therapist, you can only see a patient without a referral from another source, only for an initial eval.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And
then after that initial eval, that patient has to go to an MD or even a dentist or a chiro or somebody else to get a referral to see you.
To start treatment.
And you're asking how does that affect your life as a business owner? Okay. And I know one of my questions is, how does that affect you marketing wise? Like, are you marketing direct to these patients that can only come to see you for a 45-minute eval, and that might be all you get from these people? For these patients, what people? These people? And because I feel like the profession as a whole has a very shady opinion and view with marketing towards patients.
Okay. So I would say there's kind of 3 separate questions in that.
Sorry
No, and that's fine. I just want to make sure I get to all of them. So first, in terms of difference between access, and it sounded like you're like, well, when insurance is involved, is there an ideal? Actually, the reimbursement, or how a patient how a therapist is getting paid for their services does not affect the State Practice Act in terms of what kind of, if you need a script or you don't. That's a separate issue completely. I get that question a lot of, if I go cash, if they're paying me directly, now insurance not involved, I don't need a script anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not right. If your State Practice Act says you have to have a script to evaluate, if you have to have a script to start treatment, if you have to have a script after 2 weeks of treatment, whatever, like that's that. That doesn't change. The way you get reimbursed or paid does not change that. So then secondly, how does that affect us, or me as a business owner, and the way I market as well? So it affects us very, very poorly here in Texas. I mean, obviously, I'm able to have this practice and we're growing, and it's not a roadblock, it is a hurdle. And it's one that costs us thousands of dollars every year.
How much was that?
Thousands.
Thousands of dollars.
Because what happens is, if someone hasn't already seen, we do most of our marketing directly to the public, and most of it is from non-physician word-of-mouth referral sources. So most of the people that call, well over 50%, don't already have a referral for physical therapy. A lot of them haven't seen any other practitioner for the issue at all. Some of them have. And so we have to walk them through this process of, okay, have you seen anyone for this already? Yes, I have. Okay, great. Did they give you a referral? No, they didn't. Okay, how long ago was it? Oh, it was just 2 weeks ago. Great. They might not make you come back in and charge you for another visit to send us a referral. But if it was like 6 months ago, it's like, call them, but let us know if they won't write the referral, because a lot of times if a certain amount of time has gone by, they won't write the referral unless they come back in. But just to, instead of walking through everything we take them through, I just say there are certain amounts of people who really don't have a way to quickly and cheaply get a referral. Even the issue, like we've set up some partnerships with physicians who will do like $50 or $75 cash pay visits.
Yeah.
And some of them don't really want to pay, $50 more and take the time to go see a physician to see us. And they're like, oh, I'll just, see my massage therapist.
Yeah.
Or I'll just go straight to the joint, the chiropractic place and try that. So because of that hurdle and that, there are enough people every year that decide they don't want to deal with this referral nonsense, that try something else, don't come see us, would have, and we lose thousands of dollars from it. So Texas is one of the last states that still has this limited of access, that you can't at least give one treatment without a referral. And so we have our legislative session just starting. I'm sure I'll see you guys at the legislative day, but it really, I mean, the thing is, we're not gonna win this battle if it's only about a single day, where mostly students and a handful of actual therapists make it to the Capitol, and then that's it. Then at the end of that day, it's like, okay, we did our legislative duty,
I'll see you next year.
Yeah, actually in Texas, I'll see you in 2 years. They only meet every 2 years, so we only get a shot at it every other year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyways, I can go on and on about that.
Yeah, we want you to. And Daimir has a question.
Sure.
Daimir Jones from South College.
Yeah.
Shout out to South College.
Daimir.
So would it be easier to open a practice in a state that would allow for easier access, such as Kentucky, where you can evaluate and treat without a referral if you wanted to go that route?
Yes.
So
it would be in terms of that specific characteristic, it would be easier.
Yeah.
But, you also have to look at other components of, where you're setting up, the mindset of the people there. It's not just about affluence, but if you're in a highly active city where people, really place, in general, you just see a lot of people staying active and really being committed to their health and different forms of exercise.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot easier time in a city like that, as opposed to one where, it's, that you don't see that, regardless of affluence and that kind of thing. So, so there are a lot of factors, but for sure it would be easier if we had better access.
And back to the whole the amount of hurdles that Austin residents have to go through to even receive,
or all Texas, right?
To even receive treatment from Carter Physiotherapy. You, sir, I'm going to put you on blast yet again for your story.
Okay.
At ACL, at Austin City Limits.
Okay.
So you're talking about how difficult it is and the timing? Or
because you have a history of knee issues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you had?
So I've torn my left ACL and had surgery on it. In May, I tore my ACL again. It got better. I thought I was a champion to jump a fence. Didn't. It just went bam, popped right back. And I knew it was torn.
Recently, this most recent ACL.
Yeah, this one right here. I think Jared's referring.
So wait, did you tore your ACL at ACL?
No, I didn't. No, that's it. It was not quite there.
Okay,
almost.
I'd had a torn ACL at ACL.
I see. Okay.
And I thought I could hop a fence, and my non-ACL knee didn't hold true.
Okay.
It just popped out.
And then here we have a student studying physiotherapy.
Yeah.
You have an injury.
Yeah.
And he's talking to me. I call him one day and he's telling me about the injury. And he's like, man, I just want somebody to come in and, work with me and get my hands on the knee and go through some exercises. And I'm like, oh, so you want physical therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah. And so you're going to go get it? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Because
of money, and we're talking what's probably, time is money, right? And just that idea of going again to the physician and getting the thing again. So I have to, go to the physician and get my initial eval, and then I go to the physical therapist, and just the taking time off and
to schedule the physician date with a copay, and then possibly get a chance to go see a great physiotherapist like Dr. Jarod.
Yeah, and just that whole process just feels very weighing and bogged down, and just like, so I just won't do it.
That's a great example of why not just my practice, but really all physical therapy practices are losing a lot of money because of it. But more importantly, actually, that Texas residents are missing out on getting better, on getting the care that they need because of those hurdles.
Yeah.
And if you look around at all the other states that have had access for a long period of time, and especially if you look at the states whose laws have changed and they were very limited before and now they're not, and the fact that the liability insurance premiums for those physical therapists have not raised in any way. The importance of that is that if there's one thing in the world that can assess risk
Yeah.
very accurately
Yeah.
based on, claims and issues, it's
Yeah.
insurance companies.
Yeah.
And in all these states where, they've had complete access, they can treat directly, they never have to go to a physician first or at any time when they have unfettered access. Those people have the same insurance rates as we do because those insurance companies know that the liability claims and issues are no greater. Mm-hmm. We're very, very well trained at knowing what's in our scope and when we need to refer out.
Yeah.
And, when the legislators stop voting with their pocketbook, which is lined with Texas Medical Association money, and actually look at the stats and vote with what's logical and good for the people of Texas, then we'll see a change.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah. We did an interview with Alan Besselink, and he...
Sounds
Yeah.
awesome. I bet he got way more fired up than I just did.
He got a little fired up. It's good to see both.
Yeah, you were pretty fired up as well.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Alan's has a different, maybe more bitter vibe of like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just
been
done with
in
it.
the game longer than I
Yeah,
have,
he's kind of.
for
You
sure.
can tell he's kind of got that weathered.
He's an old veteran.
Jaded.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever.
But he
Let me
eventually
tell you the stories of fighting the battle. Son.
he eventually came and just said, "Hey, listen, you're. It's not because of that. You're lying. I'd have to go back and figure out the exact wording and listen to it again."
Yeah, I remember he said, and that's on a Duck Legs podcast that hasn't been released yet. Shout out to Alan Besselink, he'll probably be on in a little bit. He made the argument of it's not about safety, just what you said.
Yeah.
You claim that this is about patient safety. We have to go through an MD first, but it's not. And
not.
Tyler I'm gonna put you on blast again.
Okay.
As a personal trainer,
Yeah.
he has all these stories of working at 24 Fitness and now at Orange Theory, people coming up to him, not even knowing he's a PT student, asking him, "Hey, I got this issue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What can you do for me?"
Yeah, and then.
And you can, I see it all the time. Trainers, massage therapists, other professionals acting as physical therapists,
Yeah.
providing, really, literally evaluating and providing hands-on treatment, even as personal trainers, and giving exercises, even as massage therapists.
Oh yeah.
All the time, essentially doing things that are way outside their scope and way outside their training.
Yeah.
But they don't need a damn referral
Yeah.
from an MD or other practitioner.
That's crazy.
To do those things.
Yeah.
But you get your doctorate, guys, in a year or
Whew.
so, and all of a sudden that same person comes up to you in the gym if you're still doing that.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
And now you're gonna have to say, "I'm sorry, my hands are tied.
Mm.
I can't even tell you to do a stretch, literally,
Oh God.
without risking things." It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, first, let me say that my phone is about to die. The people that's on, Zach, V, what's up? If you want to continue watching this, Raphael, Daimir, you can go to Tyler Adams, or even better, where are you broadcasting
Dr.
from?
Jared Carter.
Dr. Jarod Carter.
I'm just gonna check mine might be going dead as well.
You can
so
go to-
that
You
I
got
can't even see from here.
You got juice? Since Joshua says, since this is the current climate of PT in a state with such restricted access, talking about Texas, what are some of the things we can do to actually get patients and make... Dude, I can't... Oh, I need to be able to read the comments. It cuts off. So what are some of the things we can do to actually get patients in and make them better in a state such as Texas?
Okay, and that brings us back to your other question about how do we market. Now, just because we need a referral to start treatment doesn't mean I'm marketing to physicians that heavily. I market to a handful of physicians who have a similar type of clientele, i.e. physicians who are concierge or fee-for-service, or actually I had a podcast come out this morning, was interviewing a doctor down the road with DirectMD Austin, so it's like, depending on how old you are, $50 to $100 a month. It's a monthly subscription kind of. So so physicians with those types of practices who have clientele with a mindset, I'm fine to pay more out of pocket for a higher level service, I do reach out to them, you know. But in general, we're doing a lot of we're trying to make sure that our patients have a great experience, that they're telling about that experience online, that they're telling their family and friends because we're keeping up with them with different, digital and online marketing.
Yeah.
postcards, whatever. We're just starting to do that. So the low-hanging fruit is making sure that the patients you've already had are speaking highly about you and coming back whenever they have a new problem, right? And then marketing to, kind of like with the physicians with concierge practices and the right kind of clientele, marketing to personal trainers, sometimes massage therapists, Pilates instructors, yoga instructors, those types of professionals who are financially motivated for their for their clients to not be injured or to get better as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And because then they'll spend money with them, right? If they're hurt and they're not in there, they're not paying, they're not spending money on their services.
Yeah.
So the rub comes when you get that referral from someone who's not a physician, say it's word of mouth or one of these other professionals, and they don't have a referral, then we got to walk them through the process of trying to get one. And, again, some people say I'm not going to mess with it, but most people, they're willing to go through it. They've seen their doctor recently. If they haven't, they're like, I don't mind going in, or, you know what, my uncle in Oklahoma is a dentist. I'll call him.
Yeah.
You can take it from a dentist? Okay, yeah, I've got it. So someone usually has someone in their friend or family network that they can reach out to who's willing to send us a referral. Or if that doesn't work, again, we have kind of some partnerships where we're sending cash pay business to local physicians who will do like a cash pay visit. And so between all those methods, it's just a small percentage that we can't get in the door when they call without a referral. I mean, that small percentage is still a substantial sum of revenue lost, but we make it work.
Yeah.
I see Zach, my boy, OG Zach Harmon has a question.
Okay.
Zach says he tweeted at Tom Price and Trump last week to allow us to opt out for Medicare beneficiaries. Can you ask?
Nice.
Can you ask Jarod? Jarod,
Yep.
I keep wanting to say Jarod.
Oh, yeah.
If he thinks this will change, and I need to. Oh, maybe if I hit the comment button. Sorry, Zach. To see the,
Nope.
Come on, comments.
So he tweeted at Tom Price and wanted to ask if
Change in the future, I bet.
if it's blocking the bottom of the
To allow us to opt out for Medicare beneficiaries. If he thinks this will change, why can I see?
If I think it'll. So I mean, first of all, thank you for doing that. That's awesome. I think he's probably got a lot on his plate now that he's been named Health and Human Services Secretary. I don't know that this will be the first thing he tries to address, but for you guys and anyone listening, so Tom Price he's a representative from Georgia who was recently named by Trump as being the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and he was the author the last couple of years of a bill. I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head, but it was a bill that would essentially allow Medicare beneficiaries to spend their money the way they want to, and that healthcare practitioners would not be in danger by accepting those clients as patients, even if you're not enrolled in the Medicare system. So whether you're enrolled or not enrolled, if they came to you and said, I want to work with you, then you could accept them. Right now, that's a whole other topic. I won't get into it, but I wrote a book about it.
What is that book called?
Medicare and Cash Pay PT. And so it's a whole other topic, but there's only a small percentage it depends on the practice and the risk tolerance. Some practices accept a lot who are not enrolled in Medicare. They still accept a lot of Medicare beneficiaries on a cash pay basis. I think it's too risky. It's too risky for me. We only have a small handful every year that we actually accept because they fall into the criteria that I feel makes us safe if we ever get called on it by Medicare. Because they've said certain things, and they basically said, I don't want Medicare involved in my PT at all. And when they make that request, there is an exception to what's called the mandatory claim submission, where if you provide a covered service, which is physical therapy then you're supposed to send that claim into Medicare, right? But if you're not enrolled in Medicare, you can't do that. There's one exception to that. It's basically every Medicare beneficiary's legal right to say, screw that, I don't want Medicare involved, I don't want you to send in claims, I want to see you. But most people don't know about that. They don't say that up front. Anyways, there's a lot of gray area there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to change at all to answer his question. I just wanted to give some background for those who weren't clear on what's going on. I sure hope so, but the thing is that he might be secretary, right? And he might have a lot more influence as secretary of HSS or HHS. He might have a lot of overall influence that way, more influence, but does he, I mean, for things to actually change, it still has to go through law, right?
Yeah.
So someone else is going to have to author the bill, as far as I understand.
Another boring legislative day.
Yeah, and they're still going to have to get enough people behind it to make it move. And so if it's like his pet project thing he wants to push, great, then we might see a change in the next few years. But if it's not, because he's got all these other much bigger and probably more important things to deal with, he might not get to it. He might not be able to push that. So we'll see. It's just a wait and see thing.
Let's talk about the daily hustle. I got
a daily hustle.
Yeah.
Right.
So if the second somebody goes and Googles your name, you've got the book, you've got your own you got your own clinic, you've got your podcast, and
one of the first PT podcasts I've ever come across too.
All right, great.
Started listening to even before I got into school.
That's awesome. Before school.
Yeah.
Well done, man. That's awesome.
I didn't. What is cash based? I didn't even know what that meant.
So
and
spreading the word.
I feel like there's a difference between grinding super hard on one specific path, which you are doing in a certain way, but when you have a couple different things that you're juggling, I feel like that gets really tough. Just us being students and also doing this podcast, finding the schedule and that daily grind.
The systems.
Systems. Could you talk a little bit on kind of what your day is like and how you handle all those different things at one time?
Right. So I would say in terms of what the day is like, I mean, you guys saw me flying here after you even arrived. I mean, it's kind of haywire a lot. And I'm really trying to work hard to put systems in place and also outsource things and automate things as much as possible, even though doing all that is more work up front. But I know that that's what I have to do eventually to create the lifestyle that I want. And the lifestyle I want does not involve working as hard as I have for the last 10 plus years, forever. I don't mind hard work, but it builds up. So what's my day like? I think it is important to have a morning routine that you stick with. So my morning routine is if I get up, 99% of the time I get up early enough with my wife because she works at a school and leaves before I do. Get up early enough to my morning duties are, tell her I love her and start the coffee for us. Right?
Yeah.
As the coffee's going, I get the dog fed and let her out. But once that's all sorted and I'm drinking my coffee, morning routine would be 5-minute journal. Have y'all heard of that?
Yeah, I have.
So it's kind of a gratitude journal and kind of just setting for the day the 2 or 3 things that you really want to hit. And, high level things. One thing I would suggest you guys and anyone listening, listen to Tim Ferriss's podcast. What is it? The 17 questions, something about like 17 questions, testing the impossible or something like that. And one of the things he mentions on there is, one of the questions is, am I hunting field mice or am I hunting antelope?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so what I've really struggled with throughout the last 5 years has been getting caught up in the minutia and really like just dealing with the little things instead of making the big things my first and primary focus every day. So that 5-minute journal is nice because one, you think about you write down 3 things you're grateful for, and that has been proven in a lot of studies to generate higher levels of happiness. And then you say, okay, what are my antelope for the day? And you write 2 or 3 things down that are big, longer term thinking kind of things. For me lately, it's every single day has been at least one of those is train staff, giving feedback to the 3 people you guys have met too. I have another full-time virtual assistant in the Philippines, Greg Todd, helped me.
Shout out to Greg Todd.
Yeah.
And once she's trained up, I'm going to get another one of those to do the same thing for my online business. So I'll start to be able to produce a lot more content without adding more to my plate.
Yeah.
So, So anyways, back to it, the morning routine, 5-minute journal, get that done. I meditate. And I get some sort of exercise in. So
nice.
Short meditation, it's not a religious thing. It's just about focusing the mind. There's been a lot of studies about the incredible physiological benefits of that. You will be more effective throughout the day if you can get into a short meditative practice every morning. And then, of course, exercise, again, physiologically, boosting your effectiveness throughout the day. So if you start the morning right and you make that an absolute priority, then the rest of the day and all the craziness, it just becomes a lot easier. You're a lot more focused, and you're really knocking out the big stuff and not chasing field mice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, in general, right now I'm seeing patients Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursdays are like my hardcore admin marketing type days where I focus on the other stuff. And then, like, just to address having the clinic and a few books and the podcast. So the way it went was I started the clinic in 2010, and at the end of 2010 was when I started my blog and started to write my first book on the cash-based business model. I had always wanted to have multiple streams of revenue and just always felt kind of the entrepreneurial push. And I felt like there was a good opportunity to help provide my colleagues with information that just wasn't out there at the time, and create another business. So after my first year or two in business, I was still a solo practitioner. I didn't have to do anything for marketing, really outside of just some small admin tasks that I hadn't outsourced to my assistant. It was pretty smooth sailing. I could just kind of come in, see patients, and at the end of the day, I was done with patients. And before and after that was when I was working on the books and the blogs, and then eventually the podcast. So, really within a year or so, my cash-based practice was running smooth enough where, as a solo practice, where I didn't really have to put in more than 8 hours a day on that business. And I was using time outside that to develop the other businesses. And I purposely didn't grow the clinic because I wanted to get those revenue stream or those other revenue streams built up enough to support the growth of the clinic when there'd be times where I'm having to reinvest everything back into, which I have. Like last year, I really didn't pull any money out of the clinic. I could have. We were profitable, even though I brought on a new PT and a non-revenue producing employee. We were still profitable, but I had the luxury, because of the work I had done online, to not have to pay myself from the clinic. And so we're building up reserves. I'm reinvesting in marketing. So it was kind of like one, then the other, and then now we're doing the clinic again and growing that. And pretty soon, once I kind of get certain systems and people in place here, and I can pull a little bit further back from patient care, get a virtual assistant to handle a lot of what I do online, both of them are going to explode. They're both going to skyrocket.
Even with Texas's laws.
Yeah.
So I've heard Tim Ferriss talk about the virtual assistant. How long have you had it? What is that like?
I've tried a few in the past, and just had bad luck with the output, and I've had she's kind of a quasi virtual. Actually, to be honest, I've got those 3 employees, and then I have a part-time assistant as well. She lives in Austin, but she does most of her stuff virtually. I mean, for a long time, before I had Mary and before I grew, she was actually doing a lot of, she would come get sheets that we use at the clinic and do the sheets, but she's brilliant, and she did all this online stuff for me as well. So she's really unique in that she could be a jack of all trades for me.
Okay.
But one thing I would say is, if you're looking at doing a virtual assistant, don't expect to find a jack of all trades. If you need someone who's good with web design, don't also expect that they're going to be able to write emails for you. Don't expect that they're going to be, XYZ, right? Unrelated stuff. So I worked with Greg and actually hired his primary assistant's sister in the Philippines. They live together. So what's great is that her big sister can teach her directly all this stuff. And so that's how I got lucky there. Really, it was just a connection through Greg.
Okay.
But I've tried other ones, and I've just been pretty unimpressed. So be ready to test them a bit.
Okay.
And if the first few don't work out, don't worry. There are some really impressive people that you can get. And obviously, it doesn't have to be overseas. It can just be someone in town or someone else in around the U.S. if you want someone with English as a first language, which might be important to you. So there's a lot of ways to cut it, but don't expect a jack of all trades, and don't think that you're going to get an amazing one your first go.
Gotcha.
Nice. Nice. That's
That's
very
wild.
yeah.
Hey, you made it. Congrats. Thanks for bearing with us through that long part 1 episode with Dr. Jarod Carter. We got part 2 coming up. Part 2, we're going to learn more about his mindset, how he handles running a business, running multiple businesses, and dealing with the laws and regulations of Texas in regard to physical therapy, in regard to Medicare and whatnot, and referrals, of course. We learn how he builds that quick rapport with his patients. We learn how much of a good listener he is, the intangibles that are needed to be a badass physio, and more about the Cash PT hustle. So if you feel like listening to that, then keep on listening to the Duck Legs Podcast. Peace!